Sunday radio where it's always in the 80s. You don't hear me on Saturdays very often, but the reason I'm on the radio today is because we've got a special guest joining us. We've got Sean Jordan, and he is actually a comedian from Sioux Falls. And Sean, where do you live nowadays?
Now I live in Los Angeles, unfortunately.
Los Angeles. Now, I've never heard of that. What state is that in? I'm just kidding.
That is in the sunny state of California.
Well, we're excited to have you back home tonight, and I think it's really cool and very fitting that you get to be the first comedian to kind of break in a new comedy club in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
I'm excited about it. That always seemed like something that was really like a goal back in the day. I remember when we started, we used to go to Nitwits all the time, and I would see the headliners and just thought about how cool that would be.
Absolutely.
And now I get to do it at Boss's Chicken.
And it's really cool. It's Boss's Comedy Club, and it's right in the same facility as Boss's Pizza, Boss's Chicken. It's on Minnesota Avenue. It's been around a long time. It's a great place. They just did a huge renovation in there, and it's really cool. I had a chance to go and kind of get a little sneak preview on Thursday night. They had an open mic night, and there were still things stacked in the corner, so it wasn't quite ready, but we couldn't wait. So it's a really cool facility, and I think you're going to have fun there tonight.
Oh, God, dude, I'm actually going to do the show right next to the chicken, and everybody else who's in the comedy club, they can just watch the wall, because I'm going to be eating chicken the whole time.
There you go. Well, again, Sean Jordan, he is a comedian from Sioux Falls. He's going to be performing tonight. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you've been up to the last few years, because like I was telling you before I got on the air with you here, I used to see you all the time in Sioux Falls at Nitwits, but you've kind of made a career out of comedy, haven't you?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's a very modest living, I will say that. But, I lived in Portland for 6 years, I think, and then moved to L.A. almost 2 years ago, and have just been working, wrote on a couple pilots, none that got picked up, but, it's all fun, good experience. Running a podcast in L.A. with, my roommate has a podcast that I'm on every week. Yeah, it's working.
Very cool. Now, Sean, what are some fun stories from the road as you've had a chance to go out and take your show on the road? What are some of the craziest things that have happened to you as you've been out doing comedy?
They're all, the smaller the town, the weirder the vibe. Especially through Iowa, the first run I ever did, I went through and there was an illuminated NASCAR on the wall, and I said something about it, and then it wasn't even mean, but I just said something about it, and then after the show, a bunch of guys came up and they had their fists clenched up, and I guess it was one of their friends who had passed away. I had no idea.
Oh.
It was dicey for sure, because I was like, obviously, I wasn't trying to tarnish his name, and it got a little hairy for sure. They ended up letting me go.
Well, that was nice of them. They didn't beat the snot out of you. That's cool.
They wanted to, I'll tell you. They let me go.
Now, who are some of the people that you've had a chance to share the bill with when you're out there? You got to perform with some fun people, I'm sure, as you're out and about. Are there some notable names that folks might recognize?
Sure. That's one of the coolest things. I've got to work with Norm Macdonald, Kevin Nealon, David Tell. Doug Benson I go out with a lot. It's crazy. When Amy Schumer, I got to work with Amy Schumer a few times. It's nuts. You meet these people and you just get to do the same show. It feels kind of cool where you're like, oh, I'm doing the same thing as they are. I'm just making way less money.
Well, and you get to go up and warm up the crowd, which that's actually a lot more difficult than, when they come out and people are already in a good mood. So you're kind of taking the bullet for them. You're the one that's, going out there and getting people ready to laugh.
Yeah, I'll hop on the grenade for them. I know my job. I get it. I'll warm everyone up. Not a big deal. I think it's super fun.
Well, and you do a really good job of that. Because, like I said, thinking back to 10 years ago when I first met you in Sioux Falls, and I would come and see you week after week, and there were times you'd be trying out new stuff. And even here's the one thing I always really appreciated about you in particular, Sean, is even if the joke didn't work, you'd still find a way to make people laugh, which I thought that there's a talent in that.
Thank you. That's the ultimate goal. As long as everybody has fun and they laugh and they forget about their troubles for a while, then the night's a success. however you get there.
Absolutely. And there's enough stuff going on in the world. We can kind of just put that aside for an hour or two and just sit there and laugh at the comedy show. And tonight is the first night for Bosses Comedy. It's on Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Tickets are just $10, and I know that tickets were selling really well, so since it is today, you better hurry up and get your tickets if you want to be there tonight. The show starts at 8 o'clock. There's going to be some folks opening for you. Can you tell me a little bit about who's going to be there with you?
I've actually never met anybody who's on the show, unless Nathan Holtz might be on the show. I'm not actually sure. There's a guy named Tom Trillstrom who's on it, and I've never met him. So I'm excited. I'm sure everyone will be fantastic.
Well, I'm sure he's a funny guy, and it's going to be a good time. It's happening tonight. Sean Jordan is, again, the gentleman we're visiting with right now from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and he's back in town tonight to help open a new comedy club in Sioux Falls, and we needed it. You know, we were without a comedy club for a little while, so it's great to have that back. And a big thank you to Boss and Nathan at Boss's Chicken and Pizza down on Minnesota Avenue for opening the room next door and turning that into a comedy club. I think it's going to be a great little situation for hopefully years to come. And Sean, thank you for coming back to help open it in style.
Well, thank you for having me. I will do any excuse I get to come back to Sioux Falls. I'm always in there.
Well, I hope to see you tonight, and folks, I hope to see you tonight as well. Get out and join us. It starts at 8 o'clock. All of the details on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Sunny Radio.